Hi everybody. Look how crazy my hair is right now. Woof. I tried to make it big, but this might be too big. So, it's Saturday morning. I could not do this class last night. I just needed some time creatively to figure out what I was gonna do. And I think I have it broken down, so I'm gonna just get started right away, even if nobody's joining me. That's totally cool. I hope you're all busy outside doing something way more fun than sitting on Facebook. So just watch this at your leisure. This is going to be broken up into a couple different parts because emotions and essential oils is a very heavy topic. It is something I am so passionate about because, well, I'll tell you my story in just a couple seconds here, but it's one of the main reasons I got started with essential oils. And so this needs to be broken into a few different parts. And so right now I'm going to be in this video talking about emotions and illness, and not really even talking about essential oils right now besides my story. And then as these parts go on, we will talk about, I think I'll do one on emotions and frequency. Hey Rachel. I'm going to talk about then in another video emotions and essential oils, and then I might even, if I need to, I might do another fourth part where I'm talking about emotional essential oils and which ones are my favorites or which ones can help you. So this is just going to be broken into chunks. So first of all, let me tell you about my story because it kind of brings you to understand why this is something that is an ongoing topic that I love learning about. And I have dealt with anxiety and even depression for a large part of my life. And I have tried everything under the sun to fix it, right? Resolve it, make it go away. And so I've tried different therapy, different ways of self-therapy, so journaling, things like that, yoga. I have tried medication. I have tried just supplementation, diets, all this stuff. So I have tried everything under the sun to resolve it. And the longer I live with anxiety and bouts of depression, the longer I realize that it's just a very complicated beast. And for every single person, it has a different source. So what might be my reason for these experiences might not be your reason, or oh, my internet is so shoddy up here. So it can be a culmination of multiple things. Your diet, autoimmune responses causing inflammation in the body or the brain. It can be your hormones. It can be the way your brain is wired or how you've rewired your brain over the years. It can be negative self-talk. It can be situational experiences, things that have happened in your life, whether you've chose them to happen or they've just occurred. It can be all these things. Additional things are poor management of stress, not having the right tools in your toolbox to know how to deal with stress and anger and things like that, and so much more. So when we talk about emotions and all the parts that we're going to talk about as we go along, just know that what I might say might not pertain to you, but it doesn't mean that it isn't something that someone else experiences. So it's really important to understand where your source of emotions is coming from. So after I had Reed, I went down a huge spiral due to my experience, a hormonal imbalance, and the trauma that I had endured from the labor and birth of Reed and the postpartum things. So it was this big beast that I was just like fighting. And it has taken a lot of self-discovery and trial and error and experimenting to see what my body and my mind needs to feel at its best. And some of that is diet, and some of that is supplementation, and some of that is retraining my brain and self-care, balance, etc. So when we talk about feelings and emotions, there are 6 primary emotions: joy, surprise, fear, disgust, anger, and sadness. Those are the primary ones, and then they can branch into a bunch of different secondary emotions. The 5 main purposes of emotions is that emotions help us to take action, to survive, strike and avoid danger, to make decisions, which helps us understand another person, and then moreover, they help us to understand us personally. So those are the 5 things that are the purposes of emotions. But emotions are not the same as feelings. So emotions are more of an instinctual response or a reaction from the body. So it's just kind of this innate thing happening. Feelings are our subjective experiences of the emotions and are driven by conscious thoughts and reflections. So it's kind of what we take from the emotions and we put the story to it, right? This means that we can have emotions without feelings. However, we cannot have feelings without emotions. And the more you learn about emotions, the more you'll see that your body is not just a vehicle for yourself. It actually does a lot of compartmentalizing, I don't know if that's the right word, for emotions as well. And you might not even realize it because it's not like you can feel it. You can't like get angry and then be like, ooh, I felt that go into my liver, right? It just kind of happens. If you don't deal with your emotions as they're happening, who's guilty of that? I'm totally guilty of that. I am an internalizer. So I will feel something and I just hold it in. And I'm also a Scorpio. So I'll just hold it in and hold it in for years and still be angry about it years later. And it's just so bad for you. If you do that, we need to knock that off. Okay. So let me tell you about emotions being stored, because this sounds like a neo-hippie kind of thing, but it's true. So if you're interested in what I'm about to tell you, go look up Candace Pert. She's a PhD. She's written a bunch of books. The book that I believe this is being sourced from is The Molecules of Emotion. It has nothing to do with essential oils. It has to do with how your body works with emotions. So let me read this to you. So you can think of our glands, organs, tissues, and cells as storage places for emotions and memory. Your body is your subconscious mind. Our physical body can be changed by the emotions that we experience. So that kind of ties into our limbic system of the brain as well. Most people think when we have emotions, they're coming from our brain. But emotions are from our whole body. Every part of us experiences our emotions, and it has to do with your hormones and the way your body is sending out signals. So a feeling sparked in our mind or body will translate as a peptide being released somewhere. Organs, tissues, skin, muscles, and the endocrine glands all have peptide receptors on them and can access and store emotional information. This means that emotional memory is stored in many places in the body, not just or even primarily in your brain. You can access emotional memory anywhere in the peptide receptor network in a number of ways. So she goes into more detail in her book about that. One of the ways is, guess what? With essential oils, hello, heller, as Crystal Hoskins and Mary Salentine like to say, heller. But there's multiple of other ways that you can access these emotional memories that are stuck in your body. They're literally stuck. And Candace Pert says, I think unexpressed emotions are literally lodged in the body. A primitive body defense response in which the injury and the emotions therein encoded are walled off from the rest of the body and never truly resolved. So something that may have happened to you when you were 6 years old, if you never had that properly dealt with, it might and probably is stuck in your cellular memory somewhere in your body. And so as we start talking about essential oils with emotions, sorry, I got a message. Whoops. Maggie, you texting me. As we talk about essential oils and our emotions, we will talk more about releasing them and getting them unstuck from the walls that you've built up around them and get them out of your body, right? We can't live a truly happy life if we are holding on to negative energy, negative memory in our cells, because not only does that affect you, but when you are changing your DNA with trauma, you are actually going to change the lives of your future generations, whether it's your children or their children. You are going to rewrite your DNA. So that's really creepy, and we'll talk about that later on. Like I said, this is such a deep topic. There's so many different working parts, and right now I am just trying to focus on emotions and illness. So I want to touch on the fact that we are all made of frequency. So frequency is a measurable rate of electrical energy that is constant between any 2 points. Every single thing that is living has an electrical currency. So guess what a canned food has for an electrical currency? 0. Guess what a dead person has for electrical currency, for frequency? Let's just call it frequency. 0. But did you know fresh produce has a frequency? So fresh produce is about 15 megahertz. Dry herbs are about 12 to 22 megahertz. Fresh herbs are 2 to 27 megahertz. And a healthy body typically has a frequency ranging from 62 to 78 megahertz, while disease itself, just disease, begins at 58 megahertz. So everything has a frequency. It's not just a living, breathing, healthy person. It's everything. You have a frequency. Your cat has a frequency. That plant in your windowsill has a frequency. The apple you're just about to eat still has a frequency because it's not dead. A dying person still has a frequency. I know my hair is ginormous. So when the frequency of you drops, that is when the immune system is compromised. That is when illness can start in. And there's charts upon charts upon charts of frequency. So if you're interested what certain illnesses frequencies are, go look them up. If you're interested in health, go look them up. And we're going to have, I know, it's just so deep. We're actually going to have a whole separate part on frequency when I can like go over this even more in detail. I feel like I'm doing an okay job, but I'm trying to focus on illness. So when you're sick, your frequency is lower, and you need to do the things to keep your body healthy and happy that are going to keep your frequency high. You want to have the highest frequency possible. You want to always experience the highest frequency you can because it's going to keep you healthy. It's going to keep you happy. And if your frequency is low, I mean, the lower you go, the closer you are to death. So by bringing up your health, by meditating, using essential oils, eating fresh and healthy foods, not canned foods, not boxed foods, not processed foods, not foods from sad, really terribly taken care of animals, you are eating that animal's energy. They stored it in their muscles. I mean, sorry about this. I was a vegetarian for 8 years, so when that animal was butchered, if they were butchered when they were afraid or they were just abused their entire life, that has been stored in their DNA, and you are eating that DNA. So it's so important to know. That's a total tangent, but I mean, it's really true. Even the milk that cows produced, I mean, look into it. You got to eat this healthy and whole and organic foods. It's not just a fad. I mean, everything once was organic. Everything once was organic. Your great-grandparents were eating organic. It just wasn't labeled as organic. So by removing those toxic substances from your life, your frequency is going to go up. Your health is going to stay high. And removing stress from your life is going to do the same thing. I could go on and on about animal cruelty and stuff, but this is not a PETA video, so don't worry, I will stop. But I eat the way I eat for a reason. I eat the way not just to like support a fad or whatever, or be like a crunchy mom. I eat a way, and I feed my family certain foods because I know what it's doing to our bodies. And so, yeah, do I slip up? Sure, I'm not perfect. I love wine and I love pizza, but I know the majority of the time I am going to feed my family whole foods that we cook ourselves, that were grown local and we're grown organic, because it will keep you healthy. End rant. So what do you do when you have emotions that you just shove them down the whole time and you never resolve them? And what will happen? They are going to manifest themselves. And it is because when you have an emotion, that emotion's frequency pairs up with a part in your body. This is what I've read. So you have this emotion. Let's say you have anger. Anger has its own frequency, and your liver has the same frequency that anger has, apparently. So I'm gonna dive a little bit more into this and in a separate video. But so when you're angry, you don't resolve it, your body has to store it somewhere. So it's gonna store it in a like frequency area. So it's gonna put it right in your liver. And guess what? Over time of having this happen so often, and then like not taking care of your body either, all of a sudden your liver is gonna get shot. Or same thing, bitterness. Bitterness goes to your gallbladder. So years and years of being bitter and holding things in and not like speaking your truth are going to have you get a really angry gallbladder. So your body responds to the way you think, you feel, and you act. This is one type of mind-body connection. When you're stressed out, you're upset, your body's going to react in a way that will tell you something is off. So for an example, if you've been having a really particularly stressful situation or event, somebody dies, you lose your job, you're going to experience maybe high blood pressure or a stomach ulcer. It's your body showing you physical signs that your emotional state is out of whack. So here are some examples of it. Back pain, change in appetite, chest pain, constipation or diarrhea, dry mouth, extreme tiredness, general aches and pains, headaches, high blood pressure, insomnia, lightheadedness, palpitations, sexual problems, shortness of breath, stiff neck, sweating, upset stomach, weight gain, or weight loss. Poor emotional health can weaken your body's immune system, making you more likely to get colds and other infections during emotionally difficult times. And when you're stressed out, you're feeling anxious, you're feeling upset, you may not take care of yourself as well as you should either. So you might not want to exercise or eat nutritional foods or get enough sleep. And also abuse of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs may be a sign of poor emotional health as well. So your body is going to be screaming out, like, take care of your emotions. Those symptoms can be with disease and other things too. So obviously don't start having a heart attack and be like, oh, I'm too stressed. Like, you might be stressed, but you might also be having a heart attack. So use the appropriate decision-making skills there. And so I think that is where I'm going to end. I think that this discussion may have been helpful for you to start to understand that your emotions aren't just these things that float around in your head. They aren't just your feelings. Emotions are something that is a physical manifestation that happens in your body. Yeah. And we all do. We all probably don't take care of ourselves the way that, like, Ashley, if you were to tell somebody told you that exact thing, you'd be like, oh, you need to do this and you should do this and all these things. But we don't take care of ourselves the same way we want other people to take care of themselves, right? So it's kind of that like phrase where you need to put your oxygen mask on yourself before you can help other people. Because if you are not feeling your best, how can you give your best to somebody else, right? So girlfriend, you need to take care of yourself. Good. Put on your joy. And we will talk about in our next video frequency with essential oils. And then after that, we're going to talk about what other things you can do besides oils to help your health, because we are entering the cold and flu season. Our immune systems and our frequencies are going to go low, and we need to really be resilient and build up our immune system so we can be like soldiers this fall and winter and be really healthy and help those around us. So I hope this video was helpful. Thank you everybody for popping in who did, and it's going to be on replay, so watch it at your leisure. I'm going to make a couple more videos before I leave because I am going on vacation, and this is just a whole other subject in itself. I'm going to go on vacation next week, and it's going to be 3 days long that we're out of town, and then plus driving time before and after. But I'm going to go take time for myself, and that's going to be my emotional health boost. So I'm going to make videos before I leave so that you guys all have something to watch while I'm gone. Plus, the other days my husband's off, I'm still not going to be working very hard. So I'm going to go take care of myself. And I hope you all try to do some self-love too while I'm gone. I'm going to Traverse, Michigan. We're going to Traverse, Michigan. We rented an Airbnb cabin, and it looks gorgeous. It's by all these like lakes and Sleeping Bear Dunes we're going to, and we're going to go into Traverse City and get like this really awesome ice cream that Maria told me about. It's some like organic ice cream place. It just looks really fun. So a lot of rest and relaxation. Yeah, it's going to be so fun. I'm not really an outdoorsy person, so I'm going to make a video about purification while we're going. So, anyway, I love you all. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and hopefully everyone has a great Saturday. See you later. Bye. Take care of yourself, Ashley.